Welcome to another edition of the Don't Argue, all thanks to the friendly team at Palmerbet. We love him, and we love this bloke too. He's an absolute icon of the game, and he's up and about. Has not, is not keeping a lid on it. Let's be honest. Kirk Gidley, of course, and Gids, mate. I must say, your Knights are just taking it to the next level. The lid's well and truly off up there at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, no, 100%, mate. He's 6 on the bounce now. I can't remember that sort of happening too many times over the recent years. So, yeah, no, great for the current playing group and the coach, mate, to relieve some stress and pressure. And obviously the fans are pretty happy too. Already sold out for this week against South Sunday afternoon. So, but yeah, mate, it's been another big round and a few changes again, mate, to the table. So it gets tighter and tighter. And even, mate, the top of the table, I was just having a quick look at the draw then. You know, the Broncos and the Panthers still powering ahead, but the Panthers for and against are far superior. But, I mean, if the Panthers were to drop a game, the Broncos could just pip them for the minor premiership, but we'll wait and see.
Kids, are they the two for you, like the Bronx and the Panthers? Do you reckon they're going to be the grand finalists, mate, or do you see the Storm or the Sharks or your Newcastle Knights? Are you thinking that they're the standout top two?
Oh, I think they are the standout top two, Matty, and I think for a number of different reasons. I mean, the consistency of Penrith, not just this season, but over the past 3 or 4 seasons, is the best in the competition, better than any other team over that amount of years, just consistent week in, week out. Doesn't matter who's in the team, out of the team, who's named. So, they're just so clinical in what they do. And the best defensive team in the competition too, I must say. And then the Broncos, mate, they've been able to maintain their growth this year and, no buckling of the end of the season competition. So, and they're an exciting team to watch, their speed, which we've spoken about from their outside backs and some of the toughness and work ethic by their forwards. So they're not far off.
I must admit, it's the game of defence, isn't it? The Panthers' defence is absolutely their strong point. And then you're coming up against the Broncos team, which I reckon offensively, Gids, is one of the most exciting competition. They just throw the ball around, don't they? They've got plenty of talent on the outside, and they're just one of those unpredictable sides. And I love them because each week when I put a multi on, I'll just whack them in.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to, or you whack both teams in, to be honest, Penrith and Broncos. If you whack them in your multi each week, you can't go wrong. They're short, but you just collect.
Yeah. Yeah, well, mate, Broncos got the bye this week, but you're right. They play with plenty of flair. I mean, I would say that Penrith are a different style of team because they're more structured. They're the way they play with Nathan Cleary, Isaiah Yeo, from a ball playing point of view. Dylan Edwards is super player and an amazing work ethic and a great communicator. You can tell with his team. Certainly, totally different players to him and Reece Walsh. Reece Walsh probably a bit younger, certainly much more flair, but will have an error or two in him because he takes those type of risks. So different teams from an attacking point of view, and as you say, I think the difference is just defensively that the Panthers are so strong. And steely, with their defence. So they're all on the same page, mate.
Mate, what about the Storm? I think we were both blown away last week, taking on the Canberra Raiders, who'd won their last 3 in Melbourne. I think that shocked us both, to be honest. And I think we both spoke about Craig Bellamy. He would have really emphasised that to the Storm, and they come out and absolutely tore them apart, didn't they? That was a good win for the Storm.
Mate, massive win, 48-2. I watched Sticky's press conference after the game. 82-second press conference. It was absolute gold. Another special one from Sticky. Not very happy, mate. Number one, and just some classic answers to a minimal press conference questions.
Him and Wayne Bennett. Yeah. You just don't know what you're going to get, do you?
No, it's gold. So. I love his passion and he wears his heart on his sleeve, that's for sure, Sticky, and he wasn't prepared to sort of go into the details of what unfolded. He was filthy on the team, given the opportunity they have at the moment, and it was good to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, from a spectator point of view, anyway.
And a Storm supporter, mate. Great to watch. And as I said, they still got Pappenhausen to come back in too. So look out. He could be that little X factor. What about the Chooks, mate? They kept their season alive with a hard-fought victory over the Dolphins. It was a good win, wasn't it?
Well, they need to win. I've heard their players speak in the press conference over the last couple of weeks. Tedesco, then Kiri this week, and they just know they've got to win every game. That's an absolute must and a minimum. And then by how many points, that'll influence their for and against, which is pretty poor at the moment. So, yep, they need to win every game. They're aware of that. And I think they're taking some confidence week in, week out. They're still not playing their best footy and their best attacking footy, I don't think, that they're capable of. But a win's a win. And, what are they? They're 2 points out of the 8, but there's 3 teams ahead of them that they're way ahead of them for and against wise at the moment too.
And the other thing, Gids, is you actually put a line through it, mate. The red market came out last week. So maybe that has driven. It has driven the Roosters.
Maybe it's got back to the video session.
Maybe, mate, they've said, hey, have a look at this turkey and the other bloke that's with him. Who do they think they are? So I want to get to put a line through them this week, okay? So last week, Gids, you put a line through the Tigers, the Dragons, the Bulldogs, the Dolphins, the Titans, and controversially, you put one through the Roosters, big fella. So that leaves
the
Sea.
I'll sit with that too. I'll stay with that.
Stick with it, mate. I love it. You got to just be a man of conviction. I love it, mate. So you got Manly there hovering, Parramatta Eels there hovering, Cowboys hovering, Rabbitohs clinging on to life in the top 8, Knights the same, and the Raiders. What are you thinking? Are we putting a line through any this week, big fella?
Here it is, mate.
You're doing it. You're going.
Seagulls, gone.
So Manly gone. Okay, right.
Manly gone. 25 points currently at the moment. 3 points outside of the 8. But, after last week's loss, I think they're gone, mate.
Right.
I think they were another team that had to win every week.
Not even a victory against the Warriors this week, mate, will suffice for you. So they are cooked, right? So that is one. No one else, mate. You're leaving. You happy with that? Just Manly?
No, I won't be too ruthless, mate, as last week. But the Eels are starting to worry me as well. I mean, there's no Mitchell Moses there. What's fractured cheekbone? I think he was. So he's a big part of their team. Obviously, anytime you lose your starting halfback, that guides the team around, and his influence and experience. So he's a huge loss for him. I'm not sure how they're going to be able to handle the next few weeks.
And both sides at the top of the table too. Premiership odds last week for the Panthers 205. They've firmed into $1.90. The Broncos were $4. They've firmed into $3.60. Warriors on the slide, $9.50 out to $11. Storm go from $8 to $7. Sharks go 41 into 34. They're starting to strike a little bit of form. Raiders, $91 last week, out to 126. Knights, 51 into 41. Gids, I reckon you've unloaded the wallets and had a bit of a crack there. Rabbitohs, 11 out to 15. Cowboys, 18 out to 19. And the Eels, 61 out to 251. So that's the premiership market movers from week to week, which is interesting.
Interesting. I mean, there's still a bit of value there for the Broncos, isn't there? $3.60 compared to the favourites, Penrith. I mean, as we've seen, mates, an injury or two for any team, and especially in those key positions, can be absolutely crucial. And so I think there's some decent value there for the Broncos, that's for sure. As an outsider, who would I pick as a bit of a smoky to be in the grand final? I mean, Storm are always going to be there fighting, aren't they?
Yep.
Just from their experience, coach, once they get to the semi-finals, it's...
Can I throw this one in, Gids? And I don't know, but I reckon $126 for the Canberra Raiders is a ridiculous price on the season that they've had. I know they were disappointing last week against the Storm, but I reckon they're best. If they can string 4 kind of solid finals weeks together, I reckon that's a ridiculous price.
Yeah, $126. Holy dooly. I don't know if they've got the team or the momentum they had when they made the grand final. What was that? It's a few years ago now. They're big odds because I think it's a long shot.
Right.
And a touch up like last weekend is going to knock their confidence around a little bit, I think.
But kids, I'll put it to you as simply as this: like the Knights are 41, Raiders are 126. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that's skew if if you know what I mean. Like they're a similar team, aren't they? That's where they sit.
Yeah, for sure, mate. The Raiders have actually been far more consistent than the Knights throughout the year. It's probably just over the last month that the Raiders have lost a couple of games where they did get beat against the Knights. Knights have been on a good run, so the momentum for both clubs has really swung 180 there.
Hey, listen, let's have a look at this week's round of matches. Gid starts on Thursday night, Queensland Country Bank Stadium. It's the Cowboys and the Sharks. Okay, this is massive, a huge game, head to head. All thanks to Palmerbet. Cowboys at $1.60 favourites. The Sharks at $2.35. At the line, the Cowboys minus 4.5, $1.90. Sharks plus 4.5, $1.90. Key stats, all thanks to Palmerbet. Jeremiah Nanai is back for the Cowboys. It's going to be a massive boost for the home side. No changes for the Sharks, so they go in unchanged from that winning outfit last week. Cowboys have won 6 of their last 7 at home. Sharks have won 9 of their last 10 games against the Cowboys. So that's an interesting little stats. And Sharks winger Ronaldo Militalo has scored 5 tries in his last 5 games. So he's in good nick. There's no second chance here. Cowboys must win at home. They get their opportunity to keep their season alive.
Yeah, but I think Cowboys have got the momentum here. I know the Sharks had to win there last week because they had lost a bit of consistency throughout the back end of the year. They're starting to drop down the ladder a little bit and we're under a bit of pressure. So they're back in the winner's circle there last week. I think Cowboys up there, strong team that they've named again. I think their momentum is continuing to grow, mate, the back end of this year. What are they? They're just outside of the 8, so yeah, they've got to continue to win if they want to be in the 8 and play finals footy in 3 weeks' time, or 4 weeks' time. Then they've certainly got to win this game to stick above that. Well, we'll get into the 8.
So a tight game.
I think Cowboys
tight
game. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think for the Sharks, they'll want to start stringing back-to-back performances together, start stringing back-to-back wins together. So, but I think a tight one. I think home ground advantage might get the Cowboys over the line.
Yeah,
I will go Ronaldo Militalo anytime try scorer.
Beautiful, mate. Any odds there?
Not off the top of my head, mate. Actually, I just brought it up just here. Ronaldo, he's only short. He's short. $1.90. It might be worth throwing him a little multi.
That's right. W money's 5 from 5 last 5
Cowboy.
games, wouldn't you?
That's it.
Do a little double. Hey, Friday night footy, Warriors taking on the Sea Eagles, who you've put a line through, Gids. So I know where you're tipping this week, but it's at the Daniel Anderson Stadium, named in honour of their former coach, Daniel Anderson, for the match. So that is something a little bit different.
Yeah, nice.
Which is a great honour, that is for sure. Head-to-head, the odds here, Warriors at $1.24, Manly at $4.10, Warriors at the line minus 12.5, $1.90, Sea Eagles plus 12.5, $1.90. Key stats here, all thanks to Palmerbet. For the Warriors, Nickel Klokstad is back along with hooker Wade Egan. While for the Sea Eagles, Morgan Harper will start in the centres as well, which is pretty exciting for them. Warriors are aiming for 6 consecutive wins for the first time since 2002, 21 years ago. Sea Eagles have won their last 3 games against the Warriors. Sea Eagles have won 11 out of 15 games against the Warriors in Auckland. So that's an interesting stat. What are we thinking here, mate? Because you put the line through, big fella. So I'm hoping that you're not going to be tipping the Sea Eagles here, big fella.
No, certainly won't be tipping the Sea Eagles. It's been a great gesture from the New Zealand Warriors to be renaming the stadium in Daniel Anderson's name. Obviously, a well-respected coach, a brother was coached by him over at St Helens in England. So I don't know, he had a big influence on the players that he coached over the years. So great work by the Warriors. Yeah, mate, I'm sticking to the Warriors. I've been big fan of their footy this year, and great to see them back up into the top 8, not just the top 8 fighting for a top 4 position.
Yep.
I think they've done a great effort in their coaching staff and the way they're playing, and they're obviously playing with plenty of belief and really bought into the team and what they want to achieve this year. So Warriors head-to-head for me, and I will throw a little anytime try scorer, Dallin Wateni Zalesniak.
Good work, mate. I'm glad it was you, not me, big fella. Some of these names get me, I can assure you. I'm really intrigued. The Sea Eagles have won 11 out of 15 games against the Warriors in Auckland. That is an amazing stat. on the road. They're
Yeah,
all
wow.
over there, so that is amazing. Hey, Friday night, 8 p.m, Combank Stadium. It's the Eels v the Roosters. Okay, this is it. All on the line. Eels head-to-head, 225. Roosters, $1.65. Looking for back-to-back victories. At the line, the Eels plus $3.50, Roosters minus $3.50, $1.90. Key stats here. The Eels lose Mitch Moses for the season with a fractured cheekbone, but they do get Mako Siva and Regan Campbell-Gillard, who returns from suspension. Angus Crichton returns from a knee injury for the Roosters. That's big. Eels have won 7 of their last 8 games at Combank Stadium. Roosters have won 7 of their last 9 games against the Eels, and the Roosters have won 6 from 8 at Combank. So what are we thinking here, Gids?
Yeah, well, the Eels got a few key players back. Regan Campbell-Gillard is he's a great tough front rower. I thought, it was a pretty ordinary injury that he was out with there. There's a number of weeks ago now, but I still just think they're going to struggle without Mitchell Moses guiding the ship there. So, and I know, just from what I've seen in the media, the players are really positively talking about still opportunity to make the 8 for the Roosters. So I just feel like there might be a bit of a power shift here, and the Roosters backing themselves with a bit of belief they might get the job done, I think. But again, I think what swayed my decision is definitely the Mitchell Moses is missing from the Eels lineup.
Righto. So Roosters, mate, to make a little bit of a run in the back little part of this season, but just to not scrape in, because, of course, you put a line through them last week, mate, and they're hunting you down. Hopeful, that is for sure. Hey, let's turn our attention Saturday afternoon to Tigers v the Dolphins. Combank Stadium again. Head-to-head, Tigers $1.30. Dolphins at $3.10 at the line. The Tigers minus $8.50, $1.90. Dolphins plus $8.50, $1.90. All thanks to Palmerbet. Tigers are going to just go into the game unchanged. Same 17 as last week. Dolphins have been hit hard with injury with Kenny Bromwich, Tabawi Fidau, and Jeremy Marshall King all missing. So they started the season so well. Dolphins are 4-7 in away matches this season, 0-2 in Sydney games. Tigers have won 2 of their last 8 games at Combank. Playing for a bit of pride, both these clubs, aren't they?
Yeah, for sure. I think that, geez, reflecting back on some of the Tigers' performances this year, where they've only been beaten late in the game, or beaten by a try, or been in front, and then
or just
I think Canberra rings a bell. I think they got dusted right at the end there. I think Manly was another one off the top of my head, where they've actually played some good performances, and unfortunately just been done. I didn't see some of the calls last weekend, but I did see on the back of that game that Adam Dewey come out and criticise some of the calls that are going against the team, and sometimes that unfairly happens. That
you just have a
when
run
you're at the bottom of the table,
yeah,
and when you're at the bottom of the table, you don't get the 50-50 calls, which is unfair. But I'm on the Tigers this week. I think I was blown away when I checked out the odds of how short the Tigers were in this game against the Dolphins, but it probably comes on the back of that hammer being out, Kenny Bromwich and Jeremy Marshall King all being missing from the Dolphins lineup. Yep, so it's probably fair enough that they're short favourites, the Tigers, and I'll actually jump on the Tigers 13 plus for this one. I think they can they take what they've done throughout the year well into this game and execute it for 80 minutes. That's the key for the Tigers, is executing those plays for 80 minutes and defending well. Then I think they'll win convincingly. What have we got? 13 plus. And have a quick little of that. $2.20.
Yeah, right. 13 plus. I know the Dolphins have got an absolute heap out, but I don't know. Like, they just had that belief in themselves, and I think backs against the wall, Wayne Bennett. I reckon they're the value of the round at 3.10. I reckon that's a ridiculous price against a side that hasn't had that good of a year, Gid. Let's be honest. In the Tigers.
Well, mate, how many times have we sort of written them off for a game where they've had players out or players suspended, and they've still been able to fight and scrape their way into a victory?
Yeah, that's what I'm just going to run with that. I reckon they're the value of the weekend. Hey, Titans v the Panthers, Saturday 5:30 at Seabus Super Stadium. Head-to-head, Titans $8.10. Panthers at $1.08. Titans at the line plus 20.5, $1.90. Panthers minus 20.5, $1.90. Key stats here. For the Titans, Kieran Foran is out. Jaden Campbell moving to 5'8". For the Panthers, Luai and Mitch Kenny are back after missing last week, so some quality comes back. Panthers have won 8 of their last 9 games against the Titans. Titans have won only 32 from 8 against top 8 teams. So that's interesting. And the Panthers have not conceded a second half point in their last 3 matches. And it just goes to show how their defense is, Gids.
That's a great stat. They'll be certainly well aware of that. They'll be making sure they're trying to continue that run of no points in the second half right throughout the back of these rounds. Jaden Campbell, I admire him. What's up, mate?
You're thinking a big win here to the Panthers, Gids. They'll just keep tracking along beautifully, blow them out of the water.
Well, yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm looking at the live odds. They've blown out even further. The Titans are now 940 and the Panthers are 106 head-to-head. So, yeah, I can definitely see a strong Panthers victory and it has to be 13 plus, which is still only short. It's $1.30, 13 plus.
Get a little bit.
You'd have to string a few multis. You'd have to string a few multis together in this game. Maybe a Penrith 13 plus and throw through 2 or 3 anytime try scorers in there to bump up the odds. So I think it's a convincing one for the Panthers, mate, this week because they'll want to keep building momentum into the semi. So the more they can be ruthless and towel teams up, that'll build some great confidence again.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Hey, Dragons v the Storm, Saturday night, 7:35 at Wynn Stadium, head-to-head. Dragons at $5, Storm at $1.16 at the line. The Dragons plus 15.5, $1.90. Storm minus 15.5, $1.90 for the Dragons. Key stats here: Zach Lomax is back from a shoulder injury, and Francis Molo is back from concussion, which is a big boost for the home team. The Storm taking in the same 17 as last week, so Pappenhausen is going to have one more game in the Queensland Cup. Which I think is good. Just giving that match fitness. Dragons have won only 2 from 6 at Wynn Stadium this year. Storm half Jerome Hughes has scored a try in all 5 games against the Dragons. Storm outscored the Dragons 86-24 in their last 2 clashes. I'd love to, and I can't wait, to be honest. I can't wait for Pappenhausen to be back into this side. He just gets through unscathed, gets that confidence up, and just this back half of the year, it's going to be exciting for Storm followers, I reckon, Gids.
Oh, mate, for sure. I mean, what a nice one to have in the back pocket, just ready to unleash, a week or 2 out from the semi-finals. I tell you what, the Falcons will be filthy that when he does leave the Queensland Cup, because I reckon he'd be drawing a fair crowd in that competition at the moment. It'd be great for the kids up there. Sure.
I love him. He's a cold figure, isn't he? He's one of the he's one of the most recognised footballers in NRL, and he's only been in the system for not very long, Gids. It's amazing.
No, that's right. That's right. Mate, he's got plenty of talent, speed, but he's also he's got a great work ethic too. And he's got the looks. He's looking pretty sharp, isn't he, with the mullet? And he's coming up all right. So he's got to be going for him.
He's got us covered anyway, Gids.
Yeah, that's it. Just. Yeah. But mate, I think from a coaching point of view, I think Craig Delamere will certainly drive, and then again the build up to the semi-finals. If they want to be title contenders, the Melbourne Storm, then these are the teams that they'll want to have a ruthless plan for. So I don't think there'll be any complacency going into these type of games where the Dragons haven't got a whole heap to play for, other than a bit of pride at the back end of the year. But I think it's definitely a convincing win here for the Melbourne Storm against the Dragons.
Beautiful, mate. I'm with you, big fella. Knights v Rabbitohs. Gids, as you said, sold out stadium, mate. McDonald Jones Stadium. This is Sunday, 2 p.m. footy at its absolute finest, and your team are up and about at the moment, mate. Head to head here, the Knights at $2.15, mate. That is value personified. Rabbitohs at $1.65. The Palmer Bet boys have lost it. Knights at the line plus $2.5, $1.90. Rabbitohs minus $2.5, $1.90. Key stats here, all thanks to Palmer Bet for the Knights. Jackson Hastings has been named along with Bradman Best, which is a huge boost for the home team. Well, for the Rabbits, Michael G. Cam is the only change to the Rabbits team that beat the Dragons last week. Knights are chasing 7 straight, Gids, for the first time since 2001. That is huge.
Unbelievable.
12 of their last 14 games against the Knights. So a bit of a bogey team. And Bunny's winger Alex Johnson has scored 15 tries in 9 games against the Knights. Come on, Gids. Tell me how and why you're going to win on Sunday, buddy.
Come on. Seb, first opportunity to have 7 straight wins since 2001.
Massive.
The famous year, their last premiership year in 2001.
Is that
So,
Big Chief
well,
Harrigan back in the day, mate? The Big Chief?
nah, Big Chief was 97, or he was from 88 through to
Yeah.
late 90s. But certainly Joey captained that team in 2001. So it's been too long since 7 victories. And mate, the poor stat that I'm not really excited about is Bunnies have won their past 12
out
of their 14 games.
Huge,
That's
mate.
terrible stat.
Yeah.
Mate, before we jumped on tonight, I was trying to reflect on the last time we might have had a decent performance against South, and I couldn't remember too many over recent times, and that's just backed it up. So they have been a bogey team. I think there needs to be a bit of an attitude shift there in coming up against the Bunnies, and how I'd be looking to come out of the blocks really hard and trying to ambush the Bunnies. Obviously, the Bunnies have got plenty to play for. They haven't really been playing consistently. They lost Latrell for a big period of that during Origin, and he probably hasn't had the impact since he's been back. Let's hope he doesn't have it again this week. But, mate, it's a real buzz around Newcastle, that's for sure. It's voice for mining round, so New South Wales Minerals Council are the major sponsor for this round. We've got all the blue-collar workers, men, women, their kids in the high-vis, mate. It's a real blue-collar fortress, mate, for the Bunnies this week. They're coming out of town. 7 victories in a row. That's the opportunity. And good odds.
And massive odds, to be honest, kids. And it's a 4-point game because, you're sitting 7th and 8th on the ladder. Like you win on Sunday, and I reckon you're nearly locked to play finals. So this is huge.
Mate, massive game for, I think, both clubs. I think, for the Knights to stay in the 8, they need to win this game. For the Bunnies to stay in the, what are they in the 8 or just out of the 8, did we say?
No, they're in 8th position.
They're in 8th, yeah. So, and I know, mate, the Bunnies play Roosters last round. So these are the games that are going to separate you from being in the 8 or watching the semis on the lounge at home, Yeah. So this is a massive game, massive game. This one for
how much do you win by,
both clubs.
How much do you win by, buddy?
Well, look, Jackson Hastings out injured. Well, he's been named. I think he's a real long shot to play. He was in a real nasty hip drop, and the Newcastle Knights had unfortunately lost him at the back end of last year with the same type of injury, same leg. So I know it was a bit of a fairly big scare at that stage last week when he went off. The team had done a good enough job in the first half to touch up the Bulldogs, but I think he's definitely going to be lost. Adam Clune comes in as a replacement halfback, and Clooney played a lot of first grade and guided the team around before Jackson Hastings, and has been playing really good in reserve grade. So I think it's a good opportunity for Clooney to step right up and continue to charge on for the Knights, mate, this weekend. All 3 victories, mate, for the Knights in all 3 grades last week: reserve grade, NRLW, and NRL first grade. And the girls are playing again before the boys this week. So huge atmosphere. 2 o'clock.
Love
Sunday, Arvo.
Right, mate. What are you betting? What's your bet?
I'm going to, mate, Knights. I'm going to go tight one. Knights 1-12.
Right, beautiful. Love it. Get the job done. There'll be some value there too if they're the outsider.
There is. Knights 1-12, 345.
That's absolutely magnificent, to be honest, mate. And I reckon the boys at Palmer better got that market wrong too, to be honest. Hey, Raiders taking on the Bulldogs. Final game Sunday, 4:05, McDonald Jones Stadium. No, that can't be right, is it? Is it double header?
Nah, not double header. It's a misprint.
That's a misprint. It's playing.
It's in the capital city, mate. That one.
That's down there with the Prime Minister and all the crew down there, mate, in the cold. The cold of Canberra. Hey, head-to-head, Raiders at $1.34. Bulldogs at $3.30. At the line, Raiders minus $8.5, $1.90. Bulldogs plus $8.5, $1.90. Now, for the Raiders, key stats here. Jared Kroger returns to the team after a hamstring and announced his retirement during the week too. So, been a great player, of course. Milestone this year. Been huge. For the Bulldogs, Jacob Preston's out through suspension while Corey Waddell will replace him. Raiders have won their last 7 games against the Bulldogs. That's a fair stat. Bulldogs have not won at GIA Stadium since 2015, and the Bulldogs have conceded 40 points or more in 5 of their last 7 games. I reckon with the Croker announcement during the week, Ricky so shattered with last week's effort, they're going to come out pretty steely. I reckon they're going to have a big win on Sunday for the Raiders, Gids.
Yeah, no, I think they're in for a big turnaround. They've they were embarrassed, I know, for that performance there last week against the Storm, especially going down to Melbourne and having some previous success that a lot of teams don't have. Certainly back-to-back wins down in Melbourne over the years. So, yeah, that'd be pretty filthy on that one. A bit of a really tough video session, but obviously on the announcement of Jared Croker announcing his retirement this year, such a great clubman, great competitor, and seems like he's a very well-respected opponent. And I think that's always a great rap for anyone to be respected by the players who you play against. So, amazing career. I think he's the only second other Canberra Raider to play over 300 games and one of the highest point scorers in the NRL ever.
Great effort, mate.
So, yep. But again, mate, the Dogs, geez, Cameron Serraldo must be, it's his first year here in the NRL, first year coach in first grade, and geez, they've been on the back of a few towel-ups. I think, just the two Knights victories over the last 6 weeks have been over 100, what was that? What's that, 110 points or something to 6.
Solid, isn't it?
Yeah, nasty.
Right,
so mate, I'm going to go Raiders. I'm going to go, bounce back, 13 plus for the Raiders.
Yep. Love it, mate. Hey, listen, your Gids get on last week, mate. You were stiff, 2 out of 3. It was the Warriors v the Tigers. That was anytime try scorer. So Zelzniak, Montoya, and Big Toa to anytime try. So 2 out of 3.
Stafford Toa. Yeah, not bad. Yeah, Marcelo Montoya. I like Marcelo. He always normally finds something, but yeah,
he was
Stafford Toa at the West Tigers too. Yeah, spewing.
Mate, that was solid little price last week too, and 7 out of 8. The Dragons was the only one you missed, mate. Rabbitoh's got the job done there, so you've been really been on song.
No, I have been. And mate, the Dragons was a real smoky too. Like they were heavily outsiders, but I just thought different location, and they troubled them too. I think they were leading. I think they were leading 10-0 at one stage, or maybe more.
Yeah.
So they had them dusted a little bit. So the Bunnies were, luckily for them, able to scrape out of it. But I'll tell you what, there were some fairly juicy odds too throwing the Dragons into that one. So, mate, it's not bad. 7 from 8. I'm hitting my peak at the time. I'm in the semis.
Your last 6 weeks, seriously, your winks like at the moment. You are absolutely low flying. So people need to be following this a lot closer than they're probably giving you credit for. So what are we going this week, kids? On that Palmerbet app, which is so easy to download, so easy to navigate through. It's really simple, and we're going to key it in right now for your pick 8 for the week, kids.
Yep, mate. With a pick 8 for this week, I was starting with the Cowboys victory, mate.
Yes.
When's that? That's Thursday night against the Sharkies. And then I'm going to take the Warriors over the Eagles in New Zealand, Daniel Anderson Stadium for the weekend. I'm going to go the Roosters over the Eels.
Yep.
Worries me a little bit, that game, just for the Eels bringing some players back, but I think Mitchell Mose will be the difference. I'm going to take the Tigers over the Dolphins, mate, this week. Panthers over the Titans.
Yep.
Storm over the Dragons.
Knights put a bit of value in
the Mighty Knights over the Bunnies. And to wrap it up, I'm going to go the Raiders over the Dogs.
Love it, mate. 1466, big fella.
1466.
And 7 out of 8 last week for you, Gids, which is magnificent. What about the Gids get on for the week, big fella? All thanks to Palmerbet. Gamble responsibly. That is the key message. And always think about what you're actually really gambling with.
Well, mate, I'm going to stick with the local game, the big game, the sold-out game, which is going to be a huge crowd, mate. I think it's going to be one of the first sold-out Knights games in a long time. Stadium a bit capacity, I think it's 29,000 they're talking about. So I'm going to go with that game, and I'm going to go Knights 1-12, and I'm going to go probably my favourite player for the Knights this year, Dom Young. He's been on fire, big Dom, from yardage carries to the way he finishes off tries to in the air. He's outstanding. So Dom, anytime try scorer, and been really impressed with KP, the way he's found his form back at fullback. So happy for him that he's playing consistent footy, 80 minutes every game, and is just flying again. So that's my 3-leg multi, mate, for this week.
And that's going to get you 10.35, big fella, which is a nice little 3-leg multi, 2 out of 3 last week. You're on the Knights, mate. I wish you well too, because seriously, it's great to see for the competition. When you get a team that gets a bit of buzz and a bit of hype about it, Gids, I reckon it's brilliant, isn't it?
No, it is, mate. I mean, it's a great run to get on, isn't it? You know, when you're winning back-to-back games, when you sort of get past that 4 in a row, 5 in a row, 6 in a row, there's an amazing belief and momentum for any team. I think we've seen, like, did we see the Cowboys last year? Was it?
Yeah,
Go on an amazing run?
Yeah,
we've seen the Broncos go on an amazing run there last year.
yeah.
Obviously, the Panthers are probably regulars to over those types. I mean, the Panthers at home, I think, have won something like 32 games out of 35 over the last few years. So,
Amazing.
yeah, mate, it's all about momentum and belief and confidence, and that if you can bottle that stuff up, mate, and sell it, and you get a few bucks for it, I reckon. But
Hey, Gids,
you only earn that through hard work, mate.
mate, and things can change pretty quickly too. As I said, that game on Sunday, Rabbitohs and Knights, that is season defining. It's as simple as that. So the victor comes away and probably goes, you know what, we've earned our spot in the top 8 now, and we've had a good year thus far. Still plenty to play out, but it is going to be a huge game on Sunday. Hey, mate, we must thank our sponsors, Palmerbet, of course, too, mate. We absolutely love having a bit of fun each and every week. And as I said, download that app, get involved, but do it in a responsible manner. There's so much on offer, and like there's just different things, that you're finding each week. Different bet types, that kind of stuff, which I think is fantastic.
They're outstanding, mate. The odds and the statistics that they come up with for us each week, mate, are outstanding. Right. And yeah, the variety in the Palmerbet app is just outstanding.
Hey, mate, love it, Gids. It's going to be a great round. Good luck on Sunday, big fella. I expect to see a bit of face paint, your hair coloured or whatever. I expect you to be there cheering the boys on, mate. And I hope you get the job done. It's going to be sensational, buddy. We'll talk next week.
Thanks, Matty. Big weekend. I've got the MHF ball, mate. Mark Hughes Foundation ball Saturday night into the footy Sunday. So it might be a little bit rough Sunday, but then we go into, mate, then Old Boys Day the following week. Newcastle Knights Old Boys, the once a night Old Boys. So it's a big couple of social events, mate, back to back.
It's virtually 8 days, mate. 8 days non-stop for you blokes. And geez, imagine if the Knights get a victory in between. That is going to be huge. Hey, we'll see you all next week, buddy.
Yep, for sure. Thanks, everyone. All the best.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.